Hey Siri. Okay, Google, suck my balls.
Alexandria. I've made a lot of recordings of myself playing piano, more recordings than I can ever expect myself to listen back to, especially considering how much of it is just me fumbling. Fuzzy audio quality, piano keys thumping louder than the notes themselves, the rare appalling instance of myself trying to sing. Barely loud enough for the mic to pick up, more nasal than it sounded when I was doing it. I guess that's the nature of introspection. At first, I started recording because I expected to listen to them again. If there was a good musical idea I forgot about later on, so I could re-implement it. Eventually, there were too many to ever hope to do that, and the growing apathy and self-loathing didn't help. But I think the need to record came from somewhere deeper. I have a fear, as does everyone else, of death, not to sound self-important or like I see myself as special. I think my fear's stronger than most. I know, the audacity for someone in perfect comfort and physical health to boast a deeper fear of death than someone bedridden with cancer, than a civilian family in a war zone, than someone in an abusive relationship with someone they know may hurt them at any time. Maybe stronger than most is the wrong way to say it. Maybe just potent. Maybe thinking our fear is stronger than everyone else's is also a universal thing. Death as a concept is terrifying, but I think at its core that's because of a primitive, hardwired protocol etched into every living thing to a certain degree, discounting the odd microorganism or insect whose social programming is altruistic to the point of self-destruction. I've had this self-preservation protocol short out on me, or be overwritten, or whatever, and you'll notice have been speaking, of living things as though they were computers, and I'm getting to that. I've considered suicide in the past, because in those moments, I saw the end coming against my best efforts, that my efforts were innately insufficient because the end was something that could not be overpowered. No, this is a tangent. Other people face that same dread, and they're strong against it. They see the great equalizer coming, and they put their hearts and minds into philanthropy, standing for a cause, fighting back against the disruption of the world they know, or fighting against the world they know because they see it as disruptive, gazing up to see new planets and stars, superclusters, black holes dancing around each other, or gazing up to gods of their choice, or any mixture of all these things, and those, I thought, as I considered wandering out into the night and letting myself get frozen to death, were all far better coping mechanisms for existence than anything I'd ever applied myself to. That in this meaningless world, others had some crucial piece of mental hardware or software or something that let them create their own purpose, and that I simply lacked this crucial piece and would never find it. And at this point, it sounds like Alexandria is just some guy rambling about his brush with suicide, and you're already getting bored because tales like this are unfortunately a dime a dozen, so what sets this bitch apart? And I answer this hypothetical, apathetical audience, nothing, in truth. But that's not what this piece was meant to be about. In the face of the emptiness, I saw myself as a set of ideas bundled up into a package, drifting unopened through a world spinning and brimming with better ideas, and all mine had, considering their inferiority, was the fact that they were unique. That by being a long enough checklist of beliefs and values and creative thoughts, I was innately unique, however much that made me, in my mind, a cluster of ones and zeros that happened to exist nowhere else on Earth, and nothing more. And I know societal factors have poisoned this term, snowflake. It was all I had. Because of that, I elaborated on the model, only for the dread to spread into everything I did. Because everything I did was me. Whether me was the original software in its original package, running on its original flesh hardware, or parts that I copied onto documents, or recordings of myself playing the piano, or sketchbooks and middle to high school worksheets covered in drawings of characters and machines from my own little fictions. Every form I try to exist in is temporary. That when my physical form dies, all it takes for those recordings of Word documents to disappear is the well-known forecast of a swap of Earth's magnetic poles, To wipe everything from hard drives to cloud storage, or less cataclysmically, just nobody knowing my password or which files were most meaningful to me, or nobody caring. Okay, so print it onto physical media, or transcribe the important bits in a notebook. Learn to write sheet music. If you're scared of your digital drawings disappearing, just print them out or sketch the important bits. But then the dread creeps into those fail-safes too. Because using a pencil is comfortable, but enough smearing from the back of a hand, enough time spent turning the page, could render the page empty or illegible. That pen is better, but pen is only as permanent as the paper it's on, that it could get soggy, and the ink could bleed into, again, illegibility or worse. Somebody drops a match in this dry place, and every piece of paper goes up in flames, every drawing and sketchbook and childhood photo gone. The thought of everything burning likes to visit my mind, unbidden, quite often, more and more frequently, and it, too, is that fear again, of death. Because for me, every lost drawing is death, in a way. That was me once, now that backup's gone, wiped. And so, however hard I fight, I'm as impermanent as everyone else. Our stories are all articles written in ink on newspaper that is already kindling a fireplace, waiting for or watching as the flame begins to lick, hungrily, at the physical medium that our lives are scrawled upon. And some bits of paper, when that flame hits them, begin to flex, so that everything, even as they're being engulfed, curls inescapably outward toward the living room, so that paper, in its final moments, still communicates a fragment of what it was when it was fresh off the press. Other articles, meanwhile, feel that heat, the great universal pull up the chimney towards homogeneous ashen oblivion, and they curl inward on themselves, unreadable, and go out unremarkably. And we all hope our histories will be the former, but I think more of us fear will be the latter. The fact that the fireplace is coming overshadows every present moment, overrides it, invalidates it. The true death as we fear it is not the physical cessation of our biological processes, it's that everything we were will be gone. And in our aftermath, our histories will curl inward into nothing, seen by nobody. And the certainty that eventually everything will end, that is echoed by the title of a poem I made when I was in the early stages of my deepest darkness, and coincidentally also high school, there will be no one left to remember us. I'm writing a story, a book, based on characters and ideas and drawings, spanning 15 years, characters that predate the onset of my depression, characters from a younger, happier me, who I sometimes think, just by me now existing where he once stood, is the truest definition of dead that ever was. In spite of this thought, I've committed myself to finishing the story because I see those characters as alive, because they are the documents and drawings that I don't want to see burn. And I do this despite sometimes telling myself, maliciously, venomously, that it will never find an audience. That in the ultimate punchline, the story has a better shot of being published in the hands of someone digging somberly through my assets long after I'm gone, than it does in my own hands while I'm alive, that I by my own nature am a being of self-obfuscation, that my history will curl in on itself and join the rising smoke unseen, because I'm not fighting hard enough. When I play Minecraft, I know, I've taken to a certain habit of practicing to let go. I'll set up a base, gather some livestock, start a farm, map the local cave systems, get all the way to the point of having redstone and even a few diamonds, and then I leave all of it, get in a boat and head off miles away, then start again from scratch. Practicing by leaving structures that stand testament to my existence in a single-player world that I know for certain nobody else will ever visit. And eventually I delete that entire world, and I start a new one. Overcoming my fear of things ending by ending them on my own terms. And this could very easily be read as orbiting dangerously close to suicidal ideation all over again, but I can't tangibly explain why it's not really like that for me. Sometimes
Smash Mouth doesn't happen in
I
Justice
do
Reggae,
listen
but
to
maybe 10 years.
a recording, and I gather up or write down or
Make
memorize
everything
anything
like it
important in it, and then I delete it. I let that me go,
I think the time gap's about
and I think that's
similar.
what he would have wanted.
I think. Those are my hot takes, and this is why I don't do hot takes. Bro, that was not 8 minutes. Did you stop when I... Did you shut down and stop? I hate you. I hate you so much. Or did I just play all that in 9 minutes? Was that, what? Me spending a reasonable amount of time doing something absurd? I only felt like a few minutes passed. You're showing me the amount of time it felt like passed. That usually means that like an hour's passed. I guarantee you you're lying. If I check and you're not, I might have hoped.